What's up? What's up? What's going on? Straight to the point. Back up in here again. We dealing with it. Make sure y'all hit the like. Sub to the channel too. Hit them notifications. Do all that good stuff, man. You already know how we finna do. We finna talk about this NBA early morning. We was up quite late last night. Hope everybody feeling all right. We finna definitely get into it, man. This is my time of year. I'll wait for some people to come through. Then we'll chop it up. I was pretty impressed, man. I was definitely impressed, to say the least. What NBC was doing. Now, last night, y'all can rewind this, of course, if you catch me in the middle of everything. You know how I do it. Ain't no script going here. And shout out to Who Is Hendo. Detroit was right, but we'll talk about that Lakers game in just a second. But I want to focus my attention more so on the Houston Rockets versus OKC game. A game in which went to double overtime. To me, it was the more entertaining game. I think the final score, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was 124, 125. I could be wrong. But I do know that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, SGA, a.k.a., he pretty much has sealed the deal like he normally did. Now, I'm going to talk about the Rockets as soon as some more people get up in here. But OKC did start off slow. They were without J-Dub. They were without Jalen Williams. And I think a couple of other players too. But, you know, Jalen Williams was the main one that they were missing. But no Williams, no problem. I felt like Dagnall, the coach, OKC's coach, he came up in there and he pretty much had capitalized on the weaknesses of the Rockets, especially in the second half. Kenyon Perry, what's going on, bro? I'm gonna watch your Suns play too, man. I want to see the Suns, man, this year. how they are, because I've been one of the ones on the island by myself that's been thinking that the Suns can actually do more damage and do better than what a lot of people are saying. But we're not talking about them right now. Now, but salute to Kenyon Perry, nevertheless. Here's the problem. Okay, here's the problem. Houston, I'm going to say right off the bat, Houston is still scary. Okay, we got an average, we're talking about an average height listing in the starting five at, I think it's 6'10". They're long, and they're still dangerous. Now, everybody knows I've been talking about it. I was quite surprised that Ime Udoka went ahead and put Amen Thompson at the 1, okay? Here's the first problem with that, okay? While Amen Thompson did a decent job, I would say, throughout the first half and a little bit of the third quarter, that's when you started to see that they really needed a true point guard. What up, Cypress? Tap in. That's make sure y'all go sub to Cypress. Cypress, tap in, man. But that's when you really started to see the weaknesses of them needing a point guard exploited. That's one problem, okay? You know, they need to go ahead and get a true see, them not having Fred VanVleet is showed. Yes, they have Reed Sheppard, but Reed Sheppard just needs to play more. Reed Sheppard, while I have been high on Reed Sheppard, he still needs to get in there and play in, because he didn't really play that much last season. Now he's in a situation where off the rip, they're playing the champs. They're playing in a loud, hostile arena, and they're essentially playing a team that was very physical and gonna go at you, especially on defense, especially those perimeter guys. When we talk about Dork, when we talk about SGA, when we talk about Caruso. Hey, I keep telling you to tap in, Cypress. I guess Cypress don't want to talk about this. But I could see Reed Sheppard getting some more time. Now, here's another problem with H-Town, okay? Have I been critical of KD? Yes. KD is still a great player, still a bucket. He's still a bucket. He kept his cool in the first half. Right? But as the game went on, okay, and shout out to Sengun. I'm going to talk about Sengun. I think Cypress was mentioning Sengun about a great job that he did. Yes, he had 39 points, filled up the stat sheet, but there's an issue that I had with Sengun. I'm going to talk about that in just a couple minutes. But you saw the youth last night, and I'm gonna talk about Jabari Smith. You saw the youth last night in comparison to the veteranship of KD. Now, as I've stated before, KD is he's not like a great vocal leader. Okay, that's what I was telling Cypress last night. He's more of a lead by example type of guy. And that right there, they don't really have a vocal leader right there. Even though KD, he's a future Hall of Famer, all of that stuff, you could tell that he was getting frustrated because they weren't getting him the ball. There were several times when they were open, when KD was open, And I'm like, why won't they get KD to? When Reggie Miller was saying that, everybody could clearly see that KD right there, and you could see the frustration on his face. That was going late, especially in the second half. Sengun, there is no reason that Sengun should be handling the ball. You said Kevin Durant has to take the game over. He a champion. Yeah, he has to take the game over. But the thing about it is, how can you take the game over if you're not getting the ball? And they're not getting the ball. Like last night, I want to say it was Thompson or another player. They got KD the ball, but they didn't get it to him earlier. And he was trying to tell him, get it to the right spot earlier or whatever. See, that's where the frustration is going to come in with KD. But he's got to learn that he's playing with young guys. Now, does Houston still have a potential to possibly be at the top of the West? Yes, but they have to get that situation with the guard, with their guard play under control. Because, you know, Amen Thompson, who fouled out, they had several different players that fouled out. That was crazy, too. You had, I think Cypress didn't even know that a couple people had fouled out. Hartenstein fouled out for OKC. Chet, who did, I'm gonna talk about Chet in a minute. I was pleased with what I saw from Chet last night. Chet Holmgren, he fouled out. KD fouled out in the end. Excellent herky jerky, getting him off balance. SGA what he did. I like what he did, drawing that foul, playing very smart. You know, getting it in the clutch. You know what I'm saying? Waiting till the end of the game. It's not how you start, it's how you finish type shit. Okay. And Thompson had fouled out too. I might be missing some a couple other guys, but those are the guys that came right off my head. I think Steven Adams. I think he fouled out too. What's up, Stephen Green? I see you in the building. You said morning. Both Rockets and Thunder, good game. OKC have to improve. No, they don't. Make sure you salute to Stephen Green. No, they don't. They don't need to improve on their defense. Absolutely not. They did an excellent job on defense. Now, in the first half, you could see that they needed their legs. What are you talking about? What game were you watching? They did a phenomenal job. They played very physical. Caruso was on it on defense. Lou Dort was giving it hell like he always does. Lou Dort, you know, he was all NBA defense. Chet Holmgren playing more physical, put on a little weight, hitting that mid-range, hitting that outside shot. Chet Holmgren, I was very impressed by Chet Holmgren because he was hitting some shots that he normally didn't make. Hartenstein, causing a terror. You have a whole bunch of pests on that team. They did a solid job on defense. No, you got to talk about Houston doing a better job on defense, and you got to talk about them avoiding how to foul. Now, did they do? Ime Udoka wanted Amen Thompson to play a little better, especially on defense. Because, you know, Ime Udoka preaches defense. So, Steven, I got to disagree with you on that, man. I probably would start Shepard over Thompson at some point. Absolutely not. No. Thompson is just, he's naturally a 2, naturally a 3. He's a scorer. You know what I'm saying? He's more of a scorer than a playmaker. Reed Shepard, you got to bring him along. If you throw him in the fire, then you can expect a lot of mistakes, just like a lot of mistakes that were being made last night with Thompson. But of course, that's going to happen because you don't have a natural one out there. The natural one that you do have out there is Reed Shepard, but he's not used to playing at that level. Right off the rip, you're playing the champs. Those guys have been late in the round. Them guys have been on the big stage. Now, Jabari Smith, excuse me, y'all, still a little bit sick, man. You said at the end of the fourth period, OKC almost let the game slip away. No, they didn't, man. No, they didn't. They didn't let the game slip away, and let me tell you why. Let's talk about OKC for a minute. I don't know what game you were watching, man, but let's go back and let's go back to the breakdown. If anything, uh, the Houston Rockets let the game get away from them because they were making um, terrible decisions, man. Terrible decisions. They were throwing the ball away, stuff like that. OKC problem was just the fouling. You know what I'm saying? In which, when you have a scrappy team like that, you can expect stuff like that to happen. But SGA, who people still don't talk about, he's still showing that he's the best player in the league. He's the MVP of the league. I know what people gonna come and be, oh, well, what about LeBron? Or what about Jokic? Or what about this guy? What about that guy? SGA still, if listen, if you could do it in the clutch as well as throughout the game, to me, you can make a case for you being what they call a superstar. You could make your case for being a Hall of Famer, that sort of thing. Because you're able to seal the game, you're able to close. Got to think about it. Of course, we don't need to mention Jordan. He was a closer. Kobe was a closer. Larry was a closer. You know what I'm saying? A lot of closers over time. I don't want to mention the obvious all the time, but those guys were closers. Magic was a closer. You know what I'm saying? Isaiah Thomas was a closer. You know what I'm saying? Kareem has been known to be a closer. You know, I'm talking about going into the game, going into, like, okay, you remember back in the days, Cypress, Steven, Kenyon, everybody up in here, the Bulls sometimes would be, they would be down by like 17, 18 going into the fourth quarter at times. And guess what? You know, where Kobe got all that calm down shit, you know, from Jordan and stuff, like calm down and stuff. That's what Jordan would be telling you, calm down. Maybe they'll be down by 10 with 5 minutes to go. And somehow, some way, they'll chip away at that lead. SGA is starting to learn that. He's starting to learn, okay, we got to get to the line. That's what he was doing. He's one of the top players at getting to the free throw line, getting to the charity stripe. But I think Ime Udoka did a great job with his adjustments. It's just that a lot of people like Cypress, he does feel that Reed Sheppard should be starting. I don't want to say starting, but I think he needs to be thrown in the fire more so that he can make it. Get your mistakes out of the way, because Houston is still a scary team. If you look at that game, if you were looking at the game from an eye test standpoint, besides SGA closing the game, you would have thought that Houston should have won that game. And come on, man, we're talking about they went to double overtime right out the gate of NBA opening day. So yeah, man, I don't think that OKC did a terrible job on defense. Matter of fact, I think they did They're still playing like the champs, and they still got the same personnel. They still got the same continuity, which leads me to talking about the opposite of what the Lakers got. Houston is up and coming. Learn that win in the Western Conference Final. I want to hold my horses on that. But Houston is still a scary team because they're long, and they're just gonna have to play. I mean, they haven't even gotten it. Shoot, man, they're gonna have to play some of these teams that are gonna be coming at you every night. Then they got to go over to the East. When we talk about Houston, yeah, they might be long and scary, but they still gonna have to go. You know, they were on the road. They started off on the road. That's a good thing. I think like a team like that starting off on the road, I think that's good because when you're on the road, you learn a lot about one another. That's where the psychology of everything comes in because you got to deal with the hostility. You know, they were booing KG every time he touched the ball. Cypress, you trying to get up in here, man? Yeah. So, um, like I said, man, I'm gonna be patient with Houston. I don't think that they are a contender though. From a potential standpoint, they could definitely be a contender. It's just that they got a lot. They got a couple things that they got to figure out. But having to getting that point guard situation figured out, that's gonna be very important, man. Hold on one second, y'all. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, my bad, y'all. Oh shoot, what's going on? It's not messing up. Come on. Push one if y'all can hear me. Oh man. Come on, man. Push one if y'all can hear me, man. Oh my god. Something going on. This thing ain't.